In today's episode, we're going to talk about Drukhari with a twist.
From buying your first box of minis and paint to being a competent player at the gaming table, we have you covered.
We play every miniature game at a heroic level. We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors and Patreons that keep the channel going, plus you for watching the videos. Be heroic and click that subscription button. Welcome in, everybody. As I stated today on the intro, we're going to talk about Drukhari. This is a list review, I guess, of Drukhari. Before I get started, thanks again to all the Patreons. They keep the channel going. Greatly appreciate them. Thanks to all the sponsors. They help get us some of the different games that we're able to put on the stream. But most importantly, as always, thank you for watching. If you haven't, hit the sub button. It's free. It helps grow the channel. We're growing at a very good rate. We're able to, hopefully, we're 50 away from giving our next giveaway, which is really cool. So if you can, take and hit that button, share it out, get friends and family to hit it. Doesn't cost anything. We're just trying to grow it and make sure YouTube hits the algorithm for us. So greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, we're just going to kick in it. When I do these, I try to make them short, sweet, to the point. So the list review, and I'll have the list, I think, loaded below. But if you stay to the end, you'll get to see the little twist on it. So let me take and get this pulled up here. And boom. So, Drukhari, I'll kind of go over the list. I'm going to go down the pieces in the list. I've got it pulled up, so we'll just be able to see those as we go. But basically, it's the power for pain is their main army rule. Because it's 2,000 points, we'll get 3. You can use them to reroll all hits for a unit, or you can take reroll the advance or the charge, I think it is. Gosh, I can't see. Yes, reroll all hits and advance or charge. With that being said, let's see here. If you have one or more Archon, Succubus, or Homunculus, you actually get extra power from pain from that standpoint, so that's really cool. Stratagems, not really going to go in those again. This is just a list review, not an armor review, so we're just going to kind of skip past those. In the list review, we do 2 things, though. So the 2 things is, one, Labyrinth of Cunning Archon model. You take and basically, if the bearer's target stratagem roll d6, if the stratagem's used alliance agony of 4, I gain a CP. So basically, it's a way of trying to gain some CP in the army. And then the Art of Pain, Drukhari model, which I'll tell you which one. Basically, if they're on the field during the command phase, I get another power from pain token. So that's that. So start of the round, just so everybody knows, because power for pain to reroll the hits is actually pretty good, and we'll get to one we have it. We're starting with 3. We're going to end up with 2 because of 2 characters, and then we get 1. So we're going to start off with 6, which is roughly what we need to make this work. So our first model is going to be the Archon. The Archon is there. Really, he's just there for the ability to try and get the CP. He can be put inside a unit. You could use him for that, but he could also he's just an extra unit on the table. He doesn't really do much of anything else based on the way this list is made. So it's kind of actually silly, but he's there just to have him in it from that standpoint. This unit is actually a big unit. So the Kronos, you have a Kronos in the list. With the Kronos in the list, anytime anybody's within 9 inches and shoots on a 4+, they get the power from pain token back, which is really big on all the units. So basically, he is kind of the centerpiece. So he would almost be, if I could, make him the Warlord. He's the centerpiece that kind of makes this list work from the way I have it built, doing those different things. You have a Homunculus. Again, Homunculus is there just to be another unit to take and be able to take and have. He's the one that's got the power from pain, the enhancement, so he gets an extra. So he's basically bringing me an extra power from pain token each round during the command phase. So he just kind of stays hidden on the back objective doing his thing. So I can take and get that aspect there. Our first big unit is the Cavalite Warriors. So we're going to have 4 of these. And they're all going to be loaded out 10 man with every gun that they can take. Basically 5 the leader of the group and 5 guns, and then 4 regular guns. And you have 4 units of those. And the reason being is we got the Raider here, but we're going to skip down to this Venom. At the beginning of the game, we're going to put those 4 units into Venoms. What goes in the Venom is going to be the Saberite and the 4-man regular guns. Those are in each Venom. You're going to take 4 of those to put them in 4 Venoms, which then, based on the way Venoms work, you can then take, or the way the transport works for Drukhari, you can take the other 5 and either put them on the table or put them in something else. So we're going to have 4 units of strictly just warriors with guns. And what they're going to do, we do it here, is they're going to hop in the Raider. Then we're going to have 2 Raiders. So we got 4 Venoms, 2 Raiders, and 4 units of warriors. Basically, we are making 2 Raider gunboats. And they're going to be having all the guns, weapons. So it's going to be like 3 Dark Lances. You're going to have a blaster. You're going to have all these other guns that you can take and have from that. The next part of the list, and the big thing is, so you basically have 2 shooty boats that you can kind of move around. You can use your lightning fast on one. You can kind of get angles on the other. So you're not having so many small units that you can't kind of keep those 2 massive gunboats safe. Really is what you're doing with that aspect. And you're always going to use your power for pain from tokens on those. So you're rerolling all hits because it is it does have the firing deck keyword. And then the other thing, the warriors, if they are on an objective during the command phase, they automatically just, boom, it's mine. And even if they're in a vehicle. So the 4 units in the Venom are running around just grabbing objectives, trying to get them and get off so that you don't give someone the ability to charge on it, or things like that. So that's really what you're doing. So you got 4 Venoms that are running around trying to grab points. You got 2 Raiders that are just trying to blow stuff up within their ranges because they're loaded out. You got 2 of each gun because you put 2 5-man squads in it, and you've got the 2 Dark Lances on the Raiders. So it's 3 Dark Lances. So you've got some massive firepower, and plus you get to reroll all hits on that. You can take and put the Archon in either one of those units to ride in the boat with them because it's got room if you want to. You could have it in the Venom if you want to. It's kind of however you want to do it, because whoever he goes with, when he breaks free, is just a unit to go do another thing to score secondaries. And then the second part of that is you're going to have 3 5-man Scourges with 4 Dark Lances. I know they're heavy. I know they hit on 4s, but when you're re-rolling hits, because you're going to, again, power from pain tokens are going to be for these. So now you see we've got 5 power from pain tokens being used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 3 Scourges and 2 Raiders. We started with 6. You're going to make sure you have your 4 up to reroll to try to get them back. So we'll say we get half of those back. So then we're started with 6. We spent 5. We'll say we get 3 back. That means we've got it 4. We'll get 1 at the beginning of the turn. And of course, you get 1 every time you kill something. So we're back to 5 again, possibly 6. So you can kind of see how this rinse and repeats is just so you have 5 power from pain tokens to allow those things to reroll all their hits. That's the whole goal. Angles and shooting. The other cool thing about the Scourges is they move 14, and then they get a 6-inch move after they fire. So almost all of them have a fire and fade. It's only 6 inches, but again, when you work the angles, that's 3 units you're trying to make sure it's not shot. Your 2 Raiders you're bouncing around, make sure they get the angles they need. And when you need to go and kill infantry, you have the ability there. So you're really heavy in the firepower. Your Venoms are being used to take and make sure that you can go score objectives. And that's the list. Now, the piece that I don't have up here, by all means, if you've gotten this far, leave comments, tell me what you think. Tell me your idea, tell me if I'm wrong. This is kind of the short gist of it. Now, for another, I think it's almost 400 points, you can take and bring, you can have those favorite other army I play, which is Quinn's, or Eldar. But they're your traveling players. And so as an alliance, I bring in 2 4-man units of Skyweavers, and I give them Haywire because it's anti-vehicle on 4, doing damage. So then there's 2 4-man units of those. They also have a 16-inch move, which goes with the Venoms, because I think the Venoms now have a 14-inch move. Let me double check. I think it used to be 16, but now it's 14. Yeah, it's 14 now. And the bikes may be 14 now. Maybe they slowed it down. But that's 4 Venoms, 2 units of bikes, and 14. That's 6 units to go do some of the secondary missions to score. Plus the 4 units of bikes with the Haywire can actually hurt some vehicles because it is devastating wounds on a 4+ against the vehicle. As you kind of see some of the meta lists going to knights, a lot of vehicle heavy list. If you've got that much firepower back, but that many units to still go do stuff, because that's been the trick as you watch, and I've done some of my games I've played, is how do I have enough units to play the secondary but have enough units to kill? And so this list is very interesting. You have to be very good on your movement and where you're thinking and where you're going. But there's tons of firepower. There's tons of rerolls. There's devastating wounds on vehicles. And then, of course, the Eldar Skyweavers can actually get into combat because they're loaded out so they can do combat damage too. So if you need to hit into something, you can. If you're playing heavy into infantry, your 2 raiders aren't necessarily fearful of maybe being blown up as much. So you've got all the anti-infantry guns too. Because you got 4 units of the warriors, so you got enough anti-infantry guns to kind of go in. You still got the big guns to take care of the big stuff. Because if you're removing pieces, they have to use stuff to score points as well. And if you're removing assets, then they don't have stuff to shoot back at you. So it's a trading game with maneuverability, but having a very, very massive amount of firepower. Let's see here. So that's, again, list review. This is one that I've messed around with. I've come up with it. I built one. I played around with it. I liked it. I did some tweaking. Went to an event, streamed the event. I think it was last month, and somebody in chat asked me what my thought was. I was like, "Ooh, let me play around with that," because I also like the Eldar, the Quinn side of Eldar, and I'm like, "Ooh, that would be fun to do." And so it's just a list that I've been working around. Not saying it's end all be all, but it is definitely one to try. If you've made it this far, again, thank you for watching. We greatly appreciate all the time that you offer to the channel, because time is a valuable asset you never get back. So thank you again for watching. If you have made it this far and you haven't hit that sub button, go ahead and do it. Again, it just helps us grow the channel from that. And with that, everyone have a wonderful and blessed day.